there's a simple truth they never taught you. A truth hidden beneath sweet words, charming smiles and feigned vulnerability. Every woman, no matter how perfect she appears, has weaknesses, and if you fail to see them, you will be broken by them. But if you awaken your mind, if you sharpen your sight, you will no longer be led by emotion. You will command it, as Marcus Aurelius wrote. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Today, we expose what is hidden. Today, we step into the fire and emerge untouched. One emotional instability beneath the polished exterior, many women present an ancient storm brews, raw, untamed, unpredictable. This emotional volatility isn't just a quirk. It's a core reality of human nature, amplified by social programming and internal doubts. The mistake most men make is assuming that emotional storms are personal attacks against them. They are not. They are signs of inner chaos, often misunderstood even by the women themselves. As Stoics, we do not seek to fight the storm. We seek to become immovable within it. Marcus Aurelius taught us that the soul becomes dyed by the colour of its thoughts. If we let their storms colour our mind, we lose ourselves. The truly powerful man recognises the tempest, accepts it without resistance, but does not allow himself to be capsized by it. He does not yell back. He does not plead for peace. He remains calm, silent, and solid until the storm exhausts itself against his iron will. Understand this: the man who cannot control his own emotional response to her instability will never master her respect. A woman deep down seeks the man who stands still when the earth shakes, the man who remains silent when emotions roar. Be that man. 2, craving for validation within every soul that depends on others. For validation lies an eternal emptiness, a black hole that no amount of affection can ever satisfy. Women are conditioned by society to seek external approval through beauty, through charm, through status, left unchecked. This craving grows into manipulation, passive tests, emotional games, and endless demands for attention. Seneca reminds us, a man who suffers before it's necessary suffers more than is necessary. The man who constantly tries to meet these endless needs will lose himself exhausted by a game he was never meant to win. A Stoic sees her craving for what it is a reflection of her inner turmoil, not a reflection of his inadequacy, and instead of rushing to fill her void, he teaches her by his steadfastness that true worth is found within. He does not reward tantrums. He does not reward false crises. He rewards truth, growth, and self-respect. And only when it is truly earned, in doing so, he elevates himself and forces her to rise or to fall away. Validation is not a gift to be given freely. It is a currency to be guarded, spent only on those worthy of it. He who knows this becomes the prize she cannot take for granted. 3. Fear of aging and loss of beauty. The mirror is a merciless master for many women. Aging is not just a slow process. It is an existential terror. Youth and beauty, so often used as currency in social dynamics, begin to wither. What was once effortless now demands endless maintenance. Surgeries, cosmetics, validations. Marcus Aurelius taught us to meditate often on the decay of things. Consider the rottenness of the body, the changes of all things into one another. A man who understands this does not mock a woman's fear of aging. He simply refuses to be fooled by fleeting appearances. The Stoic builds his house not on shifting sands, but on stone, loyalty, virtue, wisdom. He does not chase youthful beauty like a moth, to flame only to burn his wings. Understand, many will seek to mask their decay with desperate validation by seeking to capture men who still chase illusions. The Stoic man sees beyond the illusion. He knows that beauty is not a vice but attachment to it, as he chooses the woman whose soul remains beautiful when the skin fades and he becomes the man who remains young, not because his face is unlined, but because his spirit is unbroken by foolish attachments. True strength is seeing beauty as it is temporary and still choosing virtue over vanity. 4. Fear of abandonment. Fear of abandonment fizz deep in the heart of many women, a wound older than memory itself. It is a fear that drives subtle games, emotional blackmail, loyalty tests, even sabotage. If I push him, she thinks, and he stays, then I know he loves me. If I punish him and he returns, then he is mine. Epictetus taught us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. When you become trapped in her fear, you surrender your freedom. You become reactive, desperate to prove loyalty, to chase love that demands proof through suffering. This is not love. It is slavery in disguise. A Stoic sees her fear, but does not bow to it. He offers his loyalty freely, but he never begs. He loves without chains and remains ready to walk away. If his soul is threatened, the man who fears abandonment becomes a prisoner. The man who accepts it as a possibility, but does not dread it, becomes invincible. He is the storm. She cannot escape the foundation. She cannot shake. Remember, true love demands freedom, not imprisonment, and the man who masters his solitude is the man whom no woman can ever truly abandon. 5. Power through weakness, weaponized vulnerability. There is no weapon sharper than a tear shed at the right moment. No chain stronger than the plea of a woman who appears fragile. Many men fall not to strength, but to weakness, used as a weapon. Seneca warns us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Weaponized vulnerability preys upon your imagination, your desire to protect, to rescue, to prove your worth. But the Stoic sees the trap and remains unmoved by emotional manipulation. He knows that real vulnerability is humble, not weaponized. It seeks understanding, not power. It is not your job to save every crying soul. It is your duty to discern the man who throws himself into every pitiful story, becomes a pawn. A man whose strength is drained by false damsels. But the Stoic remains generous, yet guarded, compassionate, but disciplined. He gives where it is righteous to give, and denies where it is wise to deny. Understand this weaponized weakness is still a weapon, and the warrior must defend against it, not by cruelty, but by clarity. The man who does not fall for every tear becomes a mountain. They cannot move, and mountains are not easily forgotten. Listen carefully, this final message. The path of the Stoic brothers understand. The enemy is not women. The enemy is blindness. The enemy is weakness of mind and heart. We do not learn these truths to dominate others. We learn them to master ourselves so that no one may dominate us. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one we awaken not to hate, but to see we build, not to control, but to endure. We stand not to conquer, but to remain unshaken. The storm will come. The illusions will dance before your eyes. But you, the Stoic, you will walk forward through fire and shadow, untouched, unwavering, because you have mastered the only battlefield that matters, your own soul.